Week 9. Part 1, Outlines and Treatments. Part 2, Is your big idea big enough? For most of this session, we will look at your idea for your final project, but first I want us to turn our attention to outlines and treatments and step outlines. With this session in mind, I recommend reading How to Make Money from Scriptwriting by Julian Friedmann, published by Boxtree. Friedmann, a well-established agent, was instrumental in starting the Screenwriters Festival and runs courses for script editors. So, how do you write a good outline? 1. It's a bit like telling a story to a friend in a pub. 2. You want to start engagingly and grab their attention. 3. You want to get to the point quickly. 4. You want to ensure your story is entertaining. 5. You want to provide context and setting. 6. You want to make sure the meaning or theme is clear. 7. You want to describe the characters and how they impact on the story. 8. You want to have a great ending. It is not a piece of prose writing, so don't bother peppering your outline with metaphors and similes. Write in a matter-of-fact style, third person and in present tense. Don't waffle and don't use dialogue. As a rough guide, a script between 10 minutes and 30 minutes in length requires an outline of about 1 page of A4. A 90 to 120 minute full-length screenplays requires an outline of between 2 and 6 sides of A4. But there are no rules, so if someone has asked you to produce an outline, ask them how long they expect it to be. An outline has 2 purposes. 1. To clarify your story to yourself. Never move on to the second stage, writing your treatment, until you are sure of the narrative or plot and the meaning of your story. It is far easier to rework a story in this short format than juggling with pages and pages of script. 2. Outlines also serve the very important purpose of attracting finance. Whenever you are ready to apply for a commission or for funding, your outline will be used in the first instance to attract interest in your project. It is therefore imperative that it is well written and thought through, because you will not get a second chance. Producers ask to see outlines because it is easier to read a short outline than a full-length script. Your outline could make the difference between getting a commission to write the script or not. You might also be asked to provide a very short outline when a producer or funder is interested in more than one idea you have. So, just to be clear, when is it the right time to write an outline? 1. We write an outline at the beginning of the writing process. We never just launch into writing a script. 2. The next time you will be asked to write an outline, it will be a polished document that the producer or you can use to raise finance to be able to write the script. I have posted 2 examples of outlines on the website. Only move on to writing your treatment when you are happy with your outline. How to write a treatment. Once again, the purpose of a treatment is twofold. One version is for your purposes and the other version is to use as a selling document. A treatment is an in-depth, blow-by-blow account of your story. As a general rule of thumb, one would expect a treatment to be between 15 and 30 pages long for a feature-length script. By this point, you, like so many writers, might well be asking, yes, but when do I get to write the script? The answer is not yet. If your outline is akin to telling an entertaining story in the pub, a treatment is different. It's like writing a very detailed map so that your friend can find the pub in the first place. So what does it include? 1. A brief outline of the story, 1 paragraph long. 2. Brief character profiles, 1 paragraph long for each character. 3. 1 sentence describing its genre and the audience it is aimed at. 4. The blow-by-blow account of your story. 5. A treatment does not include dialogue. Let's look at point number 4 in more detail. To write a treatment, you must follow the narrative 3-act structure of the story. As you are drafting your treatment, you will discover if the narrative works. If it doesn't, then the treatment affords you the space and time to amend any structural problems you might encounter. Once again, it is much easier to wrestle with the narrative in treatment form than wading through pages and pages of script. Some writers write a brief scene description on post-it notes or index cards so they can easily swap the scenes around until everything works. Final Draft, the software, if you are using it, also has this facility. Some writers bash out a first draft of a treatment from beginning to end and then edit. Other writers edit as they go along. Some writers write a treatment in longhand first of all and then transfer it onto computer. Some writers have a pile of free-form scenes written on bits of paper and then they make narrative sense of them on their computers. Some writers don't start at the beginning but choose a key scene that has particularly captured their imaginations and work backwards and forwards from that point. It really is entirely up to you how you write your treatment. There are no hard and fast rules. There is no right way or wrong way of producing a treatment. What is important, however, is that you keep writing your treatment until you are entirely satisfied that every aspect of your story works: the narrative, the setting, the characters and character development, the theme and its conclusion. If you think to yourself, this isn't right, but I'll move on to the script and sort it out then, I'm afraid you're wrong. You won't. You'll only get into a worse muddle. Writing a script is a highly complex undertaking. It requires graft as well as talent. If you follow each step carefully, you will find that the process gets easier as you go along. A good outline means a treatment will be easier to write. A good treatment means the step outline will be easier to write. A good step outline means the script will be easier to write. Don't attempt to shortcut the process. Interestingly, a treatment can take just as long, if not longer, to write than the first draft of your script, because it is here where all the narrative crafting takes place. I have enclosed, there is a sample of a treatment on the website. As I mentioned earlier, the purpose of a treatment is twofold. It is for your purposes and it is also a selling document. For your purposes, it is fine to use shorthand or write without too much regard to spelling and grammar. It is obviously not fine to show that version to prospective producers or financiers. The extract I have given you on the website from my treatment for a script called David's Rocket was for my eyes only. When producing a treatment for the outside world to look at, remember the following. 1. Include a very short synopsis of the story. 2. Give it a title, even if it's just a working title. 3. State the genre and intended audience. 4. Provide brief character profiles. 5. The blow-by-blow account must be written in third-person narrative and in present tense. It must be succinct and to the point. 6. Spellings and grammatical errors are an absolute no-no, so check it thoroughly before sending it. 7. Write in plain English. Don't use abbreviations or shorthand. Don't write in the style only you can understand. Don't waffle and don't use dialogue. 8. Number all the pages. 9. Don't include images. 10. Bind it simply. It is not appropriate to include elaborate covers. There is one more task to undertake, the scene breakdown. This, in theory, doesn't take too long. Famous last words. The scene breakdown does exactly what it says on the tin. Instead of a blow-by-blow account of your story, you now need to write a scene-by-scene account, but in brief. As you know the content of your story so well now, you don't need to go into lots of detail here. A one-sentence description of each scene or thereabouts is sufficient. The scene breakdown provides you really with a list of each scene as they unfold. It is a quick reference document for when you are writing your script. But there is still creative work to be done. The scene breakdown affords you the opportunity to think exactly how and where your scene takes place and how each scene unfolds. In your treatment, you might describe your main protagonist and her boyfriend at home arguing over denting the car. In your scene breakdown, you might have that argument taking place in the kitchen, living room and bathroom as one character follows the other round the house. A scene breakdown is never used as a selling document like an outline and treatment. It is essentially for your purposes, but if you are working with a producer or script editor, they will need to look at it too, so my rules on clarity still apply. I've also included a sample of a scene breakdown on the website. Before we leave this subject, I want to briefly discuss terminology. I've talked about outlines, treatments and scene breakdowns, but they can be titled differently. An outline is also referred to as a synopsis. A treatment is also referred to as a step outline, and a scene breakdown is also referred to as a step outline. A little confusing, I'm sure you'll agree. If you have been asked by a producer or script editor or a director to produce one of the above and they use terminology that you don't understand, then simply ask them exactly what they would like you to produce. Make sure you understand before you start writing. So, to recap, first your outline to establish a clear understanding of the script you would like to write. Next, you write a treatment so you can work out the narrative. Finally, you write a scene breakdown to use as a simple guide to refer to when you are writing your script. Each step you take should make the next step easier, and by going through such a rigorous process, you will know your story and your characters thoroughly and be in a very confident position to be able to write your script. There is no homework for this part of this week's session. I would like you to follow the outline, treatment, scene breakdown method as you develop your own idea. Part 2. Your idea. Is it big enough? Welcome to part 2 of this session. Your idea. Is it big enough? For your first assignment, it's decision time. From your top 3 ideas and from your alternative media assignment, please select one idea and submit it for my comments and peer group appraisal. Please submit your idea accordingly. 1. A 1-paragraph synopsis of your idea. 2. An outline of your story that is no longer than 1,000 words. Next, I would like everyone to act as script editors. A very important part of a script editor's job is to source new talent and new ideas. Often they will read a script to find out if they are interested in a writer, but they will also meet with writers to discuss potential ideas too. Furthermore, if you are applying to the UK Film Council or to anyone else running a script development scheme, you will only be asked to submit a short synopsis and an outline anyway. So with only a short synopsis and a 1-page outline to look at, what kind of questions must you ask yourself? The first set of questions explores the quality of the work. 1. Does the plot work? Is it engaging and compelling? 2. Are the characters interesting and engaging and easy to identify with? 3. Is it an original story? 4. If appropriate, is it well researched and able to stand up to scrutiny? 5. Does the writer have a unique point of view on the world? Have they something new and different to say? 6. Did you enjoy it? 7. Finally, I would like you to think of 3 short points on how the writer might improve the idea, unless of course it's absolutely perfect. The second set of questions explores its appeal in the marketplace. 1. Does it have an audience appeal? 2. Which audience is it aimed at? 3. Is it very similar to a film that has already been made? 4. Is it big budget, medium budget, low budget or micro budget? 5. Decision time. Would you reject it, hold it as a good example of the writer's work, or would you want to put it into development? Once you have answered the above questions, I would like you to prepare a script report of no more than 500 words. Here are some do's and don'ts when writing a script report. 1. Be objective. It's not about whether the idea is to your particular taste. You're judging it on its merits and whether it has the potential in the marketplace. 2. Remember that the writer is going to read your report. I know we've all heard horror stories about rejected novels and scripts, but as a script reader and script editor, it is unprofessional to get personal or hurtful. 3. Don't read the outlines as a writer. Don't think about how you would write it if it was your idea. Think like an editor. 4. Work quickly. When I worked as a script reader, I had 2 days to read 6 scripts and write reports on all of them. At the top of the page, please put the writer's name, the title, and your name. Please view this as good practice. The more ideas and scripts you read, the better you will know scripts and you will know the industry. Our final part of this week's session is how to take criticism. Paul Abbott said, writing is rewriting. I agree. 1. Learn to differentiate between useful and constructive criticism and negative criticism. 2. Don't take it personally. Think only how the notes will help improve your idea. 3. React calmly and think about the comments before acting, especially considering you are going to receive lots of comments from many different quarters. 4. Don't worry if someone comes up with a brilliant idea that you haven't thought of. Remember, scriptwriting is collaborative. 5. Make a careful list of all the notes before applying them to the next draft of your outline. 6. Don't be a pushover. Sometimes you will receive notes that are a little or entirely off the mark. It's fine for you to make a judgment on whether the notes are useful or not. 7. Remember, it is a collaborative process. The writer doesn't get their script made into a film. They are a team player. Lots of people are invested in the script, so keep that ego at bay. I think it would be nice to have some informal comments on our website to find out what everyone thought of the process. This is worth some personal reflection because there's a lot to think about. How do you maintain your integrity as a writer and work collaboratively? Your thoughts and observations would be most welcome. For insight into the world of script editing and writing script reports, please refer to Julian Friedmann's How to Make Money Scriptwriting and his chapter on script editing and script reports. Movie of the Week, London to Brighton, another micro-budget film with a simple, nicely constructed script. Portfolio of ideas. Just to reiterate, it's decision time. From your top 3 ideas and from your alternative media assignment, please select one idea and submit it for my comments and peer group appraisal. Ends.